And now, weighing in out of the blue corner, Josh the Punk Thompson. 100%. And on the other mic, he weighs in from the red corner, Big John McCarthy.
All right, here we go. You know, it takes time to do things and do them right. And you're going to fail so many times, but if you fail enough, you will succeed. And that is exactly what we are doing with the Weighing In podcast here once again. We are a huge success, Joshua Thompson, because you know what? We're fucking fun.
Great success. Great success. Yes. Great
success.
Yes. The crowd goes crazy because I know you guys all like to hear me that in the comment section.
Oh, yeah, they don't like that.
And then we announce Dave. Boo! Boo! You guys love that. I know you guys do. I love it. I love it too. It's fun. It's absolutely.
So what's happening, man? You know what? We have a huge day tomorrow with Super Bowl, but
that's the only thing I really give a shit about right now. Go Chiefs, baby. Let's go. That's my team.
Tom Brady. You know what? I was all for Tom Brady and just the legend doing things. And then Frankie Edgar got knocked out. And my heart's broken, and I think the same thing's going to happen to Tom Brady.
I think it is. I have some friends we have worked with formerly, and I've also got some other friends that play in the league, and they're like, yeah, just Mahomes right now is just on a different level. Not so much. It's not even so much that, is that the team itself they've meshed together so well. The Chiefs, you have Hill, you got Kelsey, you got Hardman, you got all these guys. The one thing, like I've said all week, because his Fisher tore his Achilles last week or 2 weeks ago, and he's out.
Next man up, baby. Yeah. Next man up.
Yeah, but this is a big game to have the next man up. And
you think it is?
The Bucks D is they're good, man. They're good.
Did you hear how many cameras they are going to have at this Super Bowl?
Usually like what? 400 something, I think.
No, 400.
Yeah,
on the game, on the field, 122 cameras.
Oh, maybe.
Holy Jesus! How does the director do it? How do they have a truck with enough freaking? You've got to
have two executive producers probably in each truck, or one in each truck, or something like that. I mean, hey. It makes me appreciate the guys like Nordy and Sarno and Fish a lot more. The guys that work
and Rick. Don't forget Rick.
And Rick and Stu.
There you go.
Lance and and all the other guys that are in the truck.
That's it.
Oh man.
But a good night actually with the UFC. There was some good fights. There was the knockout of Frankie, and like I said, it broke my heart.
Yeah.
Not that I'm wishing anything bad for Corey Sandhagen, and he has proven that, man, he learned from his loss. He learned from that loss with Aljo. He's changed what he's doing. He is coming out and controlling fights. And I do believe I thought the same thing that Dominic Cruz. And how often do I agree with Dominic? No, I'm just kidding. All the time, actually. But he was drawing Frankie into areas, getting him to square up. And that's when he threw that knee. And he made that happen. He pulled Frankie into him. He knows Frankie has to come into him. He knows Frankie has to close the distance. And when he takes that step outside and he sees him drawn up, he comes straight up with that knee up the middle, and it just connected. Frankie put his head down, it's like one of those things where it's just an instinct. You naturally just take and you're going to duck it down, and it just landed, right on the chin, and that was it.
John, I texted you as soon as that. My heart was broken, man.
Oh, dude,
It's
I
hard.
love Frankie.
Frankie's like one of my, I would say probably the closest friend I have in this whole sport. Outside of the guys that I've trained with. Outside of the guys I've trained with.
Okay.
Yeah,
all right.
Outside of the guys I've trained with.
Oh, you said you can't tell me that he's
no, but
there's a guy named Trevor Prang.
Yeah, no. I'm talking about outside that guy. Yeah, that guy's he is my best friend.
Yes.
But he's the guy, when you have friends that you haven't talked to in 6 months, you can text him, "What's up, buddy?" And like you guys get on a little rant back and forth. Trevor's that guy. Yeah. With Frankie, it's hard. I think I'm not talking retirement, but I mean, you've got to start thinking like, okay, you got to take some time off. Give me a good 5-6 months off. Okay. Let's find out where you fall in the rankings, into this position where you end up. And then let's talk about those guys. So if we pull up the rankings here, John, because now you can see them.
I can see something. I actually have rankings. This is awesome.
I need glasses. I can't see shit. It's like small writing. I got a 60-inch TV in here. I can't see any of it. So Frankie's going to probably drop down below. I think he'll probably end up right around Aldo, maybe past Aldo because
he'll be below Aldo.
He'll be below Aldo. I mean, we got Marlon Moraes, which the two of them were teammates for years, so I doubt they would probably want to fight each other. He's already fought Pedro. Yep. I mean, I could maybe see them
him and Jimmy
fight.
Rivera.
Jimmy Rivera might be a good fight. You know, both of them are short, stocky. You know, I mean, more Rivera stocky, but you know, I could see that fight happening. I mean, honestly, we said this already. I want to see him and Dom. That's the fight I want to see.
Yeah,
they're doing this whole Legends fight. You know, like what Diego and who's Diego fighting? Cowboy. Diego and Cowboy got announced. That fight happened. I want to see these guys that are a little bit older start. You know, you saw tonight. You saw Clay Guida, Michael Johnson. Not that Michael Johnson's super old, but it
was a good fight.
It was a great fight.
You know, goddamn man, Clay Guida is he's incredible.
Yeah,
that guy does not stop. He got hit with some big shots in that fight.
Yeah, he got rocked a couple times.
Yeah, but you know what? Just pulled things out like he always does. Dives in for the legs, creates problems, creates situations where you have to stop hitting him because you have to defend. You know, the guy is he's remarkable. Just a remarkable fighter, a remarkable individual in the way that his career has gone. Because 56 fights.
Yeah,
56 fights, and all of them are grueling. Yeah. Every one of them. He doesn't have an easy one. So
I want to take credit for Clay Guida's career.
Yeah, you could do that.
I'm going to take credit for Clay Guida's career. Clay Guida, if you're listening to this, you fucking owe me. You owe me, buddy. You are successful because of me, buddy. No, if you guys don't know the story, let me give you guys the backstory on this. They called him to fight me for the very first Strike Force ever inside the SA. It was the Hewlett-Packard Arena at the time, HP Arena. And he beat me.
And the lightweight title
that launched his career into. Then he lost to Gil next, and then basically Strikeforce didn't re-sign him, and so he ended up. And UFC picked him up right after that, and he ever since then. I think he's got like 33 fights. They said tonight he's got 30 something fights now in the UFC. Yeah, absolutely amazing fighter. Absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
So
you go down the list of people that he's been in there with, who he's gotten wins against. God. I mean, people don't remember. He's got a win over RDA. I remember that.
Jesus,
you know, he had so many fights where it was just razor thin that he would always tend to lose a decision on too.
Well, yeah, I think I'm looking at we're looking at his list right now. He beat RDA, he beat Takanori Gomi, he see Anthony Pettis. I know you can see it.
Yeah, I got it now.
You know, he beat Kawajiri, he beat Peralta, he beat
Joe Lozon, BJ Penn.
BJ Penn. Like if you scroll down more, scroll back down. Back down that way. I mean, he beat Nate Diaz.
Yeah, I didn't even remember that one.
Mac Danzig. Remember, he was tough, man. Mac came and trained at AKA with us for a little bit.
Mac Danzig was a good fighter, man. You talk about a guy that was a fantastic coach.
Yes.
Mac Danzig was awesome. Super smart, just very calm, put out information. When I would be refereeing, I would listen to Mac Danzig in the corner, and I'd be thinking, that is the exact perfect what this guy needs to do. Yeah. And I would sit there and actually listen to him because it was so good. He's great. Yeah,
he was good. He came and trained with us for a little bit at AK when Gray first came, because him and Gray are pretty good friends. Yeah. Back to Frankie. So let's talk a little bit about Sandhagen didn't even need to jump. The situation, like he's just so much taller. Frankie's not a tall guy. Wrong. Yeah, I'm not. I mean, it's true though. He didn't really need to even jump. The knee connected perfectly. But Frankie's had an issue with uppercuts. He's had with Brian. I think Korean Zombie hit him with an uppercut as well, and then finished him off with some more punches, or maybe he hit him with the right hand and then finished him off with the uppercut. But I think the height is definitely an issue. He's what? Let me look up here. He's 5'6", with Sandhagen's 5'11". Brought the knee right up the middle. Perfectly timed. Great stuff. But I talked about Frankie in the last show when he had fought last time, about how the speed is starting to slow down a little bit, his movement and everything like that. I don't think he should retire. He's still in the top 10. I think he should fucking ride it out. But I think he needs to take some time
Let me ask you this. This is the whole point. But yeah, he definitely needs time off from that knockout. That knockout was serious. You could tell by what happened with his body when he was, when we say he went stiff. He's posturing. That's a bad thing. That means that his brain was short-circuited in a bad way. He definitely has. He's going to have to go through concussion protocols and things like that because he has one. But why is he fighting now still? There's two things.
Yeah.
Money and ego.
Money and time.
No. Well, that's the reasons you should fight.
Yeah.
But now he's not fighting for a title anymore.
No.
He's not going to get that title shot. He's not in a position where that's even in the thought process with his name right now, especially off of this loss. So you look and you go, okay, so why are you fighting? He's got a lot of things outside of the fight game.
Yeah.
You know, some of it's attached to the fight game, but he's got a lot of things outside of him fighting. Now he's a competitor, and that's going to be the worst thing. He's got to find that thing that he can compete in, even if it's not physically. You know, sometimes it's, you know, other ways, but I would like to see him go out on a win. I can understand why he would want to do that, and that's fine. But when you're looking at saying, you know, he can still compete, he's in the top 10.
Yeah.
Money, and that's all he's fighting for now, because he's not fighting for titles. So it's more of, well, if you're going to continue, it's more about ego then. And that's always a bad ending.
Yeah. For me, look, 39, that was when I just decided it was time to give it up. It's just that time. You know, you could say I got headbutted, I got knocked out, but those are things that just happen. Like, once you realize, like, that's what it's like. Frankie, we had seen for years, for what, 10, 15 years, take shots like that, shake them off and keep coming. He went stiff tonight. And that's scary to me, man, especially seeing your friend like that. You're like, and what I really appreciated the most was at the end when Corey Sandhagen said, "That's Frankie Edgar." He's like, "I'm not trying to celebrate this win." I fucking I just
became a Corey Sandhagen fan.
Sandhagen fucking
yep.
I'm a jock rider now on Corey Sandhagen.
I know.
I appreciate you, man. I appreciate what you said. I appreciate
you being classy.
Exactly. To me, that you won me over as someone that I definitely am going to buy every pay-per-view you're ever on now, you know, and it means a lot to when young athletes like that start treating older athletes that have helped pave the way or helped support the way that they've grown into this sport. It means a lot to me. And I think it was phenomenal that Corey said that. He specifically said that he went out of his way to say that to DC in the interview. And as far as Frankie goes, I think he just takes 5-6 months off, enjoy some time with his family. He's got a beautiful family, his wife, and then his kids. Absolutely amazing. Just spend some time, man. Just spend some time. And, you know, and then regroup and see where you're at. I think the rankings will change a little bit during that process. Some of them will fight, some of them will lose, some of them will win. But I think the Jimmy Rivera fight is a good fight for him. You know, a sun's out, but I really want to see the Dominic Cruz fight. So
yeah, I look at, you know, there's two guys that I think match up in a very interesting way with Dom, and that would be Frankie being one and Aldo being the other.
Yeah.
I think those are great fights. They're fun fights. They're legendary fights because all of them have been champion. I know that's what, you know, sometimes it's more than about the title. It's you bring those types of fights together. I don't care how old they are.
Yeah.
I don't care, you know, how many losses they have in their last, you know, 5 fights. It doesn't matter to me. I want to see those guys matched up.
No, I agree. I absolutely agree, because it would just be a fun fight. We know what they both have left in the tank, all of them, you know, and let's just let them get after it. You know, we haven't been able to see those guys fight. They're now all in the same weight class. Let's watch it happen. You know, I mean, I don't want to see Frankie and Aldo again. I've seen it enough, but I want to see Dom and Aldo, and I want to see Dom and Frankie. That to me those are fun fights, man. I mean, just for me, that's a nostalgic thing for me. I want to just see these guys get after it, and I think that's a fight. As far as Corey Sandhagen goes, I respect you. I love the fact that you said what you said. But your performance tonight, I couldn't get a lot out of it other than the fact that your timing and your setups and your movement is on point. And I'm going to drop a little story real quick, because I was training somebody just a couple nights ago with Kyle Driscoll. And I'm assuming that he's at Elevation, which is what he's still at there, right? Sandhagen?
Yep.
And Driscoll said, like, before I came to AK, I went out to Elevation. He's like, and I was sparring with Corey Sandhagen. He's like, and Kyle Driscoll's about 155 pounds. He walks around about 170 now. But back then he was a 45 pounder, but he fought it, he walked around about 62, 64. He's like, I sparred with this little skinny twig guy. He's like, he fucking pieced me up. And I started laughing. I was like, who is this guy? He's like, Corey Sandhagen. And he was just telling me this 2 nights ago. He's like, this guy was fucking so good. He just touched me here, touched me there. He fucking pieced me up all over the place. And I'm just laughing in my mind. I'm like, oh man. I'm laughing at the same time I'm crying because I'm like, he's fighting Frankie in a couple nights.
I know. That's it. You go,
But yeah, I thought, I can't believe he's 5'11" and makes 135.
I think he's taller than 5'11".
Yes, it's insane, man. But he doesn't.
Dave, pull up the weigh-in photo of Frankie and Corey Sandhagen.
He's 5 inches taller than Frankie, is what it says.
Yeah.
Is what it says.
That's what it says at 5'6" to 5'11".
Yeah.
Take a look at the photo if you can. You look at the photo, you go, he's about a foot taller. Yeah. Look at that.
Yeah, he's a good 6 to 8 inches taller.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, holy.
If God. Frankie looks straight, he's looking at his chin. So however tall Sandhagen's head is.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah. Frankie's head goes to his knee or to his nose, the bottom of his nose if he looks down. So if you say from the bottom of his nose to the top of his head, 5-6 inches. That's crazy, man. But I thought it was a good obviously it was a good performance. 29 seconds is hard to get a good read on whether he was going to perform well the whole fight, but he didn't need to. He had did a great job. His movement, like I will give the commentary team a little pat on the back and a clap and stuff. And they actually said some good things in terms of he is kind of drawing him in. He's like coming forward, going back, coming forward, going back, and then moving and circling off. I mean, he knew that once Frankie started coming forward, that Frankie would try to close the distance by jumping in. And when he did that, he would throw the strike and probably lean to the leg. Perfect timing. Great job.
Yep. Yeah. And I look at, this, we were kind of talking about it before, but that loss to Aljo, his next 2 fights, one against Marlon Moraes and now against Frankie, both of them, he started off fast, where every time I kind of watched him in the past, he always kind of started off a little slow. Yeah. Kind of just, took his time and waited and saw what his opponent was doing and then built as, the second and third round came in if he hadn't gotten rid of him. But really what I'm seeing is he's taking every second of the fight and he's utilizing it. He might not be throwing during it, but he's doing things to make his opponent come a certain way, to see what he's going to do if he takes a step off here. He's looking to see how's his opponent going to take the step, so the next time he can do something with an attack or a counter. And so I just look at the way that he's doing things now. And again, like you said, 20 some seconds, it's you can't say a whole lot about, well, he looked really good compared to his. You can get out of there in 20 some seconds. My hat's off to you. It's a great performance. Congratulations, Corey.
You'll get paid by the minute.
Yep.
I've said that over and over. You don't get paid by the minute. Get him out of there. Pull up the rest of the fight card. Let's go down to the bottom and we'll work our way back up since we just jumped right on the Frankie one.
Do it.
The one that this, I don't even know how to say his name. Wo Choi. He beat Zalal.
Oh, yeah.
Yusuf Zalal. He's fucking good.
Yeah, he's fun to watch.
I didn't expect him to have such a performance tonight. I had seen him fight before. I wasn't like overly impressed. I can't remember who he fought.
But Zalal's good.
He is. And that's what was impressive to me, that Troy was able to dictate everywhere the fight went. He just controlled the top position. He controlled the feet, the long jab. He was doing everything he wanted. And Zalal had no answer for the reach and the range. That long right hand that Troy was throwing, I was like, oh shit. He was catching him on the output. For young fighters, if you guys go back and watch that fight, for you young fighters, you have to sometimes force yourself, because I'm going to get into the Cape fight also later. I'm going to talk to you about that. For you young fighters, when you guys are watching, you guys watch Choi, you guys got to consider there was combinations he threw. The first punch and the second punch didn't land. He forced himself to throw the third and it landed. There's times where people just get caught up in like, let me just throw 1-2 because they don't want to get hit. Like Cape later in the card, he didn't want to get hit at all. Like not even just a tiny bit, like graze me. He wanted to hit and throw and get out. And I understand, but sometimes you got to get into that mix because that second and third shot, and sometimes the fourth, could end the fight. And Cape never took that chance. Where Troy he was throwing 3s, sometimes 4. even when the first two didn't land, it's in your mind. If you miss 1 and 2, sometimes it's easy just to cover up and move out of position. He didn't do that. And I thought it was a great job. He threw the 3, and almost every time the 3 landed. And when the 3 landed, he'd throw the 4. I thought he did a great job. He even got the takedown later in the fight. He had some good stuff. I was very impressed.
I think it was fun to watch. He had that fight. God, I don't want to say it was against Evolov, the guy that just fought. I want to say on the last show. Who that guy's good.
Yeah.
And he had that fight in Russia against him. And that was the first time I remember seeing him fight. I was like, damn, that guy's good.
Yeah. Because
Evolov is a stud. And he's gonna get better and better as time goes on.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be fun to watch him.
Pull up the rest of the card.
Oh shit, I just clicked away from it. Give me a
Come
second.
on, dude. Jesus. Like an amateur hour around here. Oh, yeah, the rest of the card. So let's go. And then the other person that impressed me was Rosa. Is it Hosa? Because they kept saying Hosa.
It's Hosa.
Yeah, anyways, she cut her lip bad in that second round. It just looked like a faucet coming out of her head. And the best part was when they came out for the third round, she spit the blood out. I was like, God, that's so attractive. I was like in one fair swoop, I was like, damn, that's hot. I don't know what it is. She like just went and spit the blood out. I was like, damn, that was pretty cool. I was like, you're dope. You're awesome.
I just look and go, all right,
yeah.
Savage.
Yeah, she's
just a savage.
She had the answer for everything tonight, and she was just getting off and on top and she was impressive. I was very impressed, but I was more impressed with the fact that she was such a savage. So I wanted to talk about her a little bit just to give her a little bit of props.
You like when someone, doesn't matter. Yeah, I got hit. Yeah, I got a cut. Doesn't matter. That's the way to handle it.
Well, the leg kicks that she was throwing was helping set up. She was tearing up Edwards' legs, and then that made it easier for her to get the takedowns. And then she controlled the top position real well.
Yeah.
So good stuff.
It's there was some good fights. Early on, a lot of them went to decision, but I thought that overall the fights some of them were really good. Well, there was I was impressed with Danilo Marquez's performance against Mike Rodriguez.
Yeah.
Mike Rodriguez is good on the ground. He just ate him up. And when he got the choke, it was well done. He's going for it. You see Rodriguez trying to hold on, switches the arm across, and even though he was pulling with the one, goes to palm, gets him to go to sleep. It was a nice job.
Yeah, I was more impressed with the Dariush fight.
Dariush looked good.
That fight was freaking
tough,
awesome.
That was a great fight.
That was a great fight. Yeah. I was like, holy shit, these guys are winging it. But when we talked on Wednesday, I was like, yeah, Dariush so tall, so long. He's not tall and long. He just fights long. I was thinking that he was a lot taller than he was. He's 5'10". He's like my height. I'm probably a little bit taller. I won't just say I am, but I'm not probably. But he's 5'10", but he fights so long. Like he leaves himself out of position all the time.
Oh,
and things
and he leaves his chin out there at times.
Yes,
like,
he just.
God damn.
And so when he was fighting, I was like, oh man, like he leaves himself out of position so much that Fierro was able to touch him with some good combinations. But it wasn't enough. Neither one of them. It was just a great fight. It was so back and forth. I think it was 30-27 for Dariush
on one card.
On one card, correct?
Yeah, on one card.
And then it was a split though, right? On the other.
Yeah, I think that
decision.
Yeah, it was. One judge went with Fahea, and then the two went with Dariush.
Yeah,
I didn't think it.
How'd you score?
Dariush won the fight.
But 30-27 or 29-28?
No,
I had it 29-28. Yeah, I had it 29-28.
His decision right there.
Yeah, I had it 29-28.
Yeah, so did I. But it was when you look at all the judges had it 29-28, just one had it reversed.
Yeah.
For Fahea. But when you're looking at it, there was moments that, the first round is one. It's pretty tough because Dariush landed 2 shots. He landed a punch that hurt Fahea, and that knee. to the body and the ribs. Oh, it hurt him bad.
Yeah.
But then at the end of the round, Fahea came on and actually he hurt Dariush. He had him in a little bit of trouble. and the one judge that was the one that gave the fight to Fahea, he gave that round to Diego, where the other ones remembered what actually occurred in the beginning of the fight and the trouble that Diego was in. So, it's tough. 5 minutes is a long time to remember everything, and you're trying to put that money in the bank as you're going, so you know exactly where you're at. But it was a great performance by both. But it's really funny. It really reminded me, Beneil landed a lot of shots, and Diego did not mark up at all.
Yeah, I know.
And Beneil looked like he got hit with a truck at the end of it. And you're going, that's the guy that won. Okay, I got it. But he did. He did win the fight.
But I thought it was a great fight. They were both back and forth, both of them getting after it. Like I was saying, Fahad just has that. I feel like he's just so much more tighter, but he doesn't fight a long style of fighting. And so Dariush was able to touch him from the distance, but he leaves himself out of position. I think Fahad was trying to counter off that, but he wasn't able to get it. He wasn't able to land a lot of clean, hard shots throughout the whole fight to win the rounds. I had it 29-28.
Yeah, you got to love what both of them did on the ground when they were on their back, and the leg entwinement that they were utilizing, bringing the leg over and, taking control of their opponent's leg. So their opponent is going, I can't be offensive here. I'm in the top position, but I'm not in a position to be offensive and throw strikes, because if I do, I'm going to get caught, and having to actually back their way out or force their way up to get away from what was occurring. Both of them did it. And it was really nice to see two guys, high-level grapplers, that said, oh, I'm going to utilize this as my way of either getting on top or getting myself up. Just that whole leg entwinement that they were going through was beautifully done by both.
Yeah, there was a moment, I can't remember what round it was in, where Fahea actually could have sat up to the back. And Dariush, instead of running away and pulling him up to his feet so he could jump onto his back, he drove back across him.
Yeah,
he drove backwards into him, and then when he did, is he spun. He spun backwards. So what he did was he got his momentum going backwards first, and then he spun instead of just trying to spin in one spot.
Took all the pressure off of it.
Yeah, it was very nice. I thought it was a great performance by Dariush.
It was. It was really just and a good fight overall. That was a fast pace throughout. Yeah. They were pushing.
It was a good fight. So, very interesting. Yeah. I got to tip my hat, man, to the two veterans. I mean, I don't know if I want to call Michael Johnson like an old veteran, but I mean, he had a great performance tonight too. I know the cards didn't show it, but he landed some good hard shots.
Oh, man.
It was his hands, and they kept talking about his hands being so fast. I'm like, Jesus, man, they're extremely fast. He was the guy that I was supposed to fight, and then like 10 days before he pulled out, and I ended up fighting Bobby Green. Yeah, so he was the guy I was supposed to fight after the Benson fight. But he's fat. He's on a little bit of a loose streak. Josh Emmett, Stephen Ray, Tiago.
Yeah, he's had a tough one.
Yeah,
he's had a tough one.
Tough. I mean, he's 34 years old. You got to figure out if you want to keep doing it or not. I mean, 4 in a row, that's tough. It's hard.
Well,
it's a confidence thing.
Okay, but take a look. Do me a favor. Move that thing up a little bit for me, Dave, because where did you go? There you go. All right. So, you take a look at the guys he's fought here. I just want you, Beneil Dariush. We're looking at Beneil Dariush down here. Nate Diaz, Dustin Poirier, Khabib Nurmagomedov, Justin Gaethje. I mean, that's a grouping that it was all of those fights were one after the other. Okay, then you got Darren Elkins, Andre Fili, Artem Lobov. And people say what they want about Artem. Artem is as tough a human being as there is. He is going to come straight at you and try to put hammers through your head.
Yeah.
So you're in for a super hard fight. Then Josh Emmett, he's got big power.
Which he was winning that fight. There was a minute left. There was a minute left in that fight. He was winning the fight hands down. He just got caught at the very end. He got hit hard with that overhand right.
Happens, So I don't know. He's 19 and 17 now. Almost a 500 fighter, but man, he's a whole lot better fighter than a guy that's with a 500 record.
Yeah. He's fun. He's still fun to watch, though. I thought he's got the power and the speed to still knock people out. I mean,
but he tends to burn out, man. You can see when a guy pushes him and is controlling the pace and making him work past where he's comfortable, he tends to tail off at the middle of that second round. It starts to, you can see the shots are just not as crisp.
Yeah, but
it just doesn't flow as well.
We tend to see that though with people that are fast and explosive.
Yeah, absolutely. Fast twitch muscle fiber guys. Yep.
We talked about Frankie and Sandhagen, but then now the main event. But before we get to the main event,
no. Let's talk about your boy, because Manel Cape against Pantoja. It was a good fight.
It was.
Manel Cape lost that fight because if you don't throw, you can't win. God damn, man, you got to throw. And I've watched Manel fight, numerous times in Rizin. I was there when he fought in Rizin. Watched him lose to Horiguchi. He's a tough dude, and he's athletic. He will take shots. He's fast. He's athletic. He just needs to throw. If he would have thrown more, he would have had a lot better chance of winning that fight.
You know what makes me mad?
What's that?
When guys don't throw and they dance.
Yeah. Well, he had some pretty footwork. He did have pretty footwork, but he always does.
Yeah, I don't know. It bugs me. I guess a little bit of that has to do with, like, when we talked about a couple weeks ago, a fan question had asked about, like, what are some of my regrets or whatever it was. It was when I talk about the Yves Edwards fight. It's just that cockiness or that confidence. It's one thing to have confidence, but it's another to have cockiness in the cage. But the thing is, when you're losing the fight, he wasn't winning he didn't win the first round because he didn't throw anything. And so if you don't throw, you can't win. Like, movement and dancing is not going to win you the fight. And it's, so as the fight went on, and you could tell, especially in the third round, had he fought the whole fight that way, he would have won the fight. He would have won.
Yep.
So it's one of those frustrating moments. As a coach, you got to be sitting on the side pulling your fucking hair out, going, what are you doing?
Well, the big thing for him is he needs to go back, watch the fight, and understand. Now I see that I wasn't as busy as I thought I was, because he, in his head, he was thinking that he was busier, but he just wasn't that busy, and that's what cost him the fight.
I was okay to let the first round go. It's his first time in the UFC. It's like your first. This is a big stage for you. I understand that. So let's go ahead and, this is where a lot of fighters talk about, I want to get to the UFC, and now you're here. It's like, okay. But I understand. I gave him the first. I was like, okay, look, first round didn't go your way. You didn't throw, maybe the nerves, whatever. Second and third. In the third round, you finally started getting hit a little bit back, and you realized it wasn't going to hurt you. You could have just kept going. You had a great third round, but the second round, you have to win that round, knowing you probably didn't win the first. That's when we talk about fighter IQ. This is what I'm talking about. You probably didn't win the first round because you didn't do anything. So the second and third, you've got to win. You've only got 3 rounds. Yeah. You've got to win the second and third. In your mind, like, that's one thing that I was always doing. I'm sure a lot of the other fighters do that. Okay, look, the first round was close. Okay, second round, I've got to win this round. So at least I know I've got a chance to win. If I win the second,
setting myself up to win the fight.
To win the fight. You've got to be playing. That's fighter IQ. You've got to be playing that around in your head. So,
and if you think the round was close, you lost it.
Yeah, always. You always lost it if you thought the round was close. Before we get to the main event, let's talk real quick. You guys, please hit the thumbs up and the likes button. There's also that little bell in the bottom right-hand corner.
Ring the bell.
Hit that bell too as well, and that will share our stuff. Thumbs up on that process. And we appreciate you guys. Also go to mybookie.ag, and you guys have to deposit up to $100, and they will give you 50% of your initial deposit, all the way up to $1,000. So if you deposit $1,000, they'll give you another $500. So that will be $1,500, and it's perfect timing. If you use the promo code weighing in, it's perfect time for tomorrow. Super Bowl, baby. My Chiefs are going to smash the Bucks, and Tom Brady's going to be sent packing home in his little suitcase. I cannot wait.
And for all of the people that I went and said Frankie Edgar is a minus 310, I'm going with the answer. I'm sorry. That's why, like I always tell you, Josh, don't bet with your heart, with your head. But oh well.
My heart.
I actually thought Frankie had a chance if he could get in tight and utilize some wrestling towards the end of the first round and through the second, third. But
yeah, I thought the fight would be a different fight had he got a takedown or two in the first round. If he got a takedown or two in the first round, it would slow Sandhagen down a little bit, and make things a little bit more predictable for Frankie to get it on the legs. Yeah. But great job by Corey Sandhagen. What else is there to talk about? Give me a list.
Here comes the next one, because we talked about Frankie and should he think about stopping? Well, I'm going to go with another guy that I've enjoyed being in the ring with. He's a great guy, Alistair. It's about time to stop, man. It's time to stop. being a human punching bag is not the way to end your career. And you've been a phenomenal fighter, a fantastic champion in things like K1, Strikeforce. You've done it all. You came out as Overeem and beat up on Brock. He's had some fantastic moments and fights, but if you're not beating a guy like Volkov, who's a good fighter, I'm not taking anything from Volkov. He's a tough dude, especially if he can keep the fight standing. He tends to win all the fights, that he can keep standing. It's when guys take him to the ground, he has a problem. But man, watching, I thought Alistair had a pretty good game plan and what he was trying to do in the beginning, and the high guard that he uses and having his back against cage. That's just a new way of him trying to let someone kind of punch their way out a little bit and not accept a lot of damage, since he doesn't have the greatest chin in the world. But you look at what started in that second round, Josh, it was all ugly. Yeah. There was nothing offensively even close to being a threat by Alistair in that second round. And that's when you're saying, man, it's time to call it quits. You've had a phenomenal career. You don't need to do this anymore, man.
Yeah. I thought the way for him to win this fight was to get a takedown or two. He used to be so good on the ground. His guillotine was nasty good.
Oh, yeah, good guillotine.
Really good guillotine. He just got away from it. And then tonight, I saw him trying to shoot on the legs. He looks so slow, John. And then I'm like, not taking anything away from his career. His career's been fucking phenomenal.
Incredible.
Everything. I mean, he's been everywhere. He's fought everybody.
Yep.
I think I have to agree with you. It's time. Like, when you're just covering up, hoping that someone punches themselves out, I start thinking of Muhammad Ali.
Yes.
Like how his life ended and how throughout towards the end of his career or his end of his life, he had to live, the way he had to live. I don't want that for anybody.
No, you never want to see anybody.
And so to see him, it seems like he's just kind of like covering up, playing the ropey dope a little bit, and they're going to try to take you down or try and clinch you. And it's not there anymore. Remember, he was mean with those knees.
Oh,
he used to be nasty mean with his knees.
Yeah.
He doesn't have that mean in him anymore. And so it's time.
He's just a different fighter. There's just, when he was, the Strikeforce champion, he fought Brett Rogers, and I watched him take Brett Rogers with one arm, fling him and spin him across the cage and onto the ground. And I was like, humans are not supposed to be able to do that.
So
he was just in a different league than everybody else. And then, it's age, man.
Yeah.
Father time. You can have all these great fights and everything he's done. And go to all the, K1s and the, his battles with Badr Hari,
Oh, yeah.
He had a couple fights with him, had a win against him. And you look and you go, God damn, you beat Badr Hari. That's incredible.
Well, even if you go back to his fight with Chuck Liddell, I mean, he was beating Chuck, and then Chuck hit him with that overhand right.
Yep. He was wobbling, going back into the ropes.
Yeah, he was beating Chuck though up until that moment.
Yep.
So yeah, I agree with you. It's time to call it quits. It's hard for me to give a good analysis of how this fight went, because Volkov is kind of in his prime right now. He's 32 years old. He's kind of should be where he's at. Whereas Overeem is not. Overeem is not, and so
sorry.
It's kind of just in that, okay, I was expecting to see maybe he'd pull it out, but I honestly wasn't thinking he would win.
Yeah.
If he got a takedown, I could see him getting on top, doing some work,
If he could have gotten a takedown, he would have had a chance.
Yeah.
It was real simple. If Volkov was going to be able to keep this fight standing, Volkov was going to win the fight. If Overeem was able to get him down and be on top, he had a good chance of winning. You could see the takedowns just wasn't there.
Yeah.
Sad. I hate seeing guys be in this position where they're close. You know what I'm talking, Josh? It's a couple wins and people are going to say, and then the losses start piling up, and just you look and you go, it's just not going to happen, man.
Yeah.
Don't be somebody's punching bag.
Yeah. Yep. I would agree. It's just not worth it, man. Like, you got to think in terms of, look, if fighters are thinking at 38, 39, 40 years old, I'm going to do one more.
Always.
What you got to do is you got to take a look at and read the articles of Spencer Fisher, of there's other fighters that are out there now. So
Gary Goodrich. Take a look at all the fights Gary Goodrich had.
You've got to look at those fights.
Some of the wars now, and people don't realize, Gary Goodrich went to the ABC, which is the Association of Boxing Commissions, has an annual convention, and there's a retired fighters fund that gives out money to retired fighters that need help. And they brought Gary in, and they wanted him to talk. And I said, no, he can't talk, man. And you're going to put him up there, and this is not a place for him to talk. And they don't realize, even them who work with fighters, how bad, it can get. And, I can tell you that, my wife had to take care of Gary, had to make sure that, he knew exactly where he needed to go, where his wallet was at, where his phone was at. When we gave him a check, I'm putting it here. So when you go home, this is where it's going to be, and it's a sad thing to see. And it doesn't need to happen. Yeah. I'm not saying that, you're not going to suffer some consequences from being in the fight game. You are. But when you have been knocked out or hurt as many times as someone like Gary Goodrich was, or I'm being honest, and I see no effects with Alistair. He's amazing to me in the fact that I don't see those same effects on him, because he's been knocked out a lot.
Yeah.
And I always say, you get knocked out 3 times, you better start thinking about looking towards a different career. And he's been knocked out a lot more than that, and he doesn't show those effects. But that's unusual. That's the outlier compared to the norm. And Gary's that guy. He started showing those effects, and Gary was a wonderful human being, man. Still is, great guy. But this is a fight game. It's not pretty in the end.
Yeah, see, I get more worried for the guys that have been known to just stand in front of people and take shots. I get more concerned about those people than I do the people that get knocked out, and you're out and you wake up and then okay, you go through your concussions and your concussion protocol. I get more worried about the ones that are able to continue to take more shots. And I get extremely worried, especially after tonight with Frankie, because his 2 fights with Gray Maynard.
3 fights with Gray Maynard.
Sorry, 3 fights with Gray. Yeah, but the 2 that stand out to me the most. The
2
last,
championship,
the 2 championship ones. He got upkicked by Benson Henderson. He was never really in any danger against BJ, but he's had some fucking knockdown dragouts where he was on the short end of the stick and then gutted through it and ended up coming up to win. It scares me. It really does, and then tonight it just scares me because I care for the guy. And when I'm having these conversations, you guys have seen, like, any of you guys have watched, we did the live show when I talked about when I covered the Khabib fight, on how you guys, this is how I am when they're my friends. Like, if you guys watch that clip, you realize that, like, I go hard for my friends, and so it scares me to think in terms of, he had the 2 Gray Maynard fights, the hard ones, he was hurt in both. He was hurt. He got upkicked real bad, and I think it was the first round against Benson, broke his nose.
Got knocked out bad by Brian Ortega.
Like, it just starts to, in my mind, I start thinking, like, dude, he's got everything he needs, and probably then some. He lives in Jersey. He's from, that area there, and it's in Tom's River, right down the street from my mom, actually. And I know he's got another 1 or 2, maybe even 3 left in him. I want people to understand that you may not feel it now, but as soon as you're done, you may start feeling it. Like, it could be something your body's just gotten used to, and you just start to make adjustments here and there. Like, if you have like early in your career, you hurt your elbow. Okay. And now I don't use that arm as much to swing to an arm bar, or I don't use that arm as much. I don't throw it overhand right anymore. Cause I'll give you an example. I broke my ankle after I beat Gil, and I'm having a plate put in. But if you guys watched the first fight with Gil, I tore him up with body kicks. After that, I couldn't throw body kicks anymore because the plate in my ankle wouldn't allow me to flex it that much. So every time I kicked the body, it fucking hurt me more than it hurt them, And so I think with the brain, I think fighters start changing the way that they approach things.
Oh, you have to make adjustments.
I think Alistair is doing that. He covers up all the time. Anytime he gets hit, he just covers up, tries to weather the storm. He doesn't want to take a clean shot. And we saw tonight because he can't take a clean shot.
No.
You shouldn't be fighting anymore, you know? And so they make the adjustments in their game to prolong their career. But it doesn't mean that you already know. It's just a matter of them making the adjustment to say, hey, this is it. I'm done. He should be done. I think him more so than Frankie. But
yeah, but he's also had a lot more fights than Frankie.
Yeah, he has.
We're talking a guy,
he's 48 and 19 or something like that.
Okay. So
46 and 18, I think is his record.
47 and 19.
Yeah.
Okay, so close to. Geez, a lot of fights.
Yeah.
Close to 70 fights.
That's nuts, man. So when you're having these conversations, you know, like I care. Frankie though has had some nasty fights where he gutted him out and still won, and I just get worried, like, you know, on long-term effects. Like, you know, Spencer Fisher talked about it. Some other guys that I know have talked about it who I'll remain nameless, but they've had, you know, after they left fighting, they're like, yeah, I'm done. I feel great. Everything's good. 2 years down the line, fuck, where's my keys? Fuck, where? And I know like that's a common thing. Like, where's my keys? Where do I put my shoes? But it's like you leave your shoes in the same spot every day. Where are they? And now you don't know where they're at. It's like, hey, where do I put my key or my phone? Or not my phone, my shoes. They're right there. They're always by the door. Like little things like that. And so those are things that will eventually catch up to you, and it will get worse as you go on, as you get older. You know, after you're done fighting, you won't start recognizing it.
The other thing to think about, you know, we're talking about Overeem here saying, hey, man, that's 68, close to 70 professional fights. That's not including his kickboxing fights.
Yeah.
For the most part.
That's true. I didn't even think about that. I thought it was. Yeah. No, it's not.
He's got a lot of those. Yeah.
That's crazy, man.
Guy's got a lot of wear and tear, man. He's been through a lot.
Speaking of hanging it up, this month is 4 years since you fought Patrick. Do you think that's kind of crazy?
Yeah, I can't believe it flew by
4
so fast.
years.
I've been having so much fucking fun with you two. This is why. This is like my supplement.
That's what we're here for.
Yeah, I'm so glad I'm done. I have a group text of a bunch of buddies, and they're always texting me. They're like, hey, so, you know, they saw, not Frankie, but they saw Clay fight tonight. And they're like, hey, Clay's still fighting. Let's go, Josh, get it back in there. I'm like, yeah, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Not do that.
No, thank you.
Speaking of a guy who's given it up, who took a lot of shots, who was a guy that had a big time chin.
Yeah.
Chris Lieben ends up winning bare knuckle boxing, wins his last fight by knockout. It was like a minute something into it.
Yeah.
But Chris still got lead in his hands, man. He can still swat. And it was good to see him go out with that win. I love the fact he says, if I had gloves on, I'd take them off.
You know what, though? I'm glad. I'm glad that he said, hey,
absolutely.
This is my last fight. I'm done. He decided to hang it up, and I like that. Like, hey, you know, he was like, win or lose, I'm going to do it anyways. I'm retired. But obviously you want to go out on a win. I thought it was a good performance as well. Obviously, like the way he's always fought is that dirty, grimy style fight. So I think bare knuckle fighting is like perfect for him. Like it was a perfect situation for them to come up with this sport. And that's another thing I want to talk to you a little bit more about, this bare knuckle fighting itself.
Okay.
I feel like they really have something.
They do have something.
I think they have something. I really do. I think not just for like the older retired fighters. I think you're gonna start seeing some good boxers start making their way into this, because the low level ones that don't fight on like the major pay-per-views, this is a good outlet for them to get work. I mean, maybe potentially may break your hands, you know. But I'm saying, like, man, this is a good little. They're fun. They're action packed. They're 2-minute rounds, I believe.
Yep.
2-minute rounds, 5 rounds.
Say thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I think 3 would have been too much. I really do think 3 would have been too much.
I thought it was too. That's why I said 2-minute round.
Yeah, I could have. 2 is good. 2.5, 2, but 2 is perfect. But I think I love the clinching aspect of it all, the dirty, grimy. And when I start thinking of gypsy fighting, I think of this. Like when
this is it. This is exactly what it is.
This is perfect. When I watch that movie Snatch, this is what it makes me think of. Yeah.
Well, if you know what a traveler is in England, or even in Ireland, the travelers, this is the way that they handle, you know, their disputes. Is they go out and they clear out an area and you will bare knuckle box.
That's great.
And it's, there is a tradition behind this. Now, what's happened with David Feldman being the promoter of bare knuckle boxing, I can tell you that I met David. He's a, good guy. He believes in this. He was with Bobby Gunn for a long time, doing fights in, garages and things like that, like we did in MMA in the beginning.
Yeah.
And he came to me and said, "Hey man, I want to make this a real sport." He goes, "I believe in it." And I said, "Well, that's great that you believe in it. You got to get regulation. It's the only way it'll work." And so he goes, but how do I do that? I said, "Come up with a true rule set that you can hand over to a commission that is willing to look at it, and they can see that what you're doing is serious. It has all the regulation that they would want. They don't have to come up and make something about something they have no idea about." I go, that's my suggestion. So that's what he did. And he's done a great job. He's done a great job promoting it. I know a lot of people were, not big with Paige VanZant, going into it and stuff like that. Hey, if, he's going to pay her, I don't blame her for going in and fighting BKB. Why not?
Yeah, I think with Paige, right? With her, we're watching some of the clips right now from the fight. I think for her, it took her a little bit to get warmed up in the first round. She just wasn't used to the clinching. She thought she was going to have the advantage in the clinch. This ain't jiu-jitsu. This ain't wrestling. This is not MMA.
Exactly. And you can't throw any other tool besides the one that you've now put around her neck.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
it's completely different.
The other thing as well is you could tell that she has an MMA style of boxing. That throw one, maybe throw two, and then be done. Whereas her opponent, what's her opponent's name? Hart. She was throwing threes and fours, and the threes and fours were landing. And then Hart also stayed long with a lot of her combinations and kept Paige on the outside. Paige had some good moments. Had she fought the fifth round like she fought the rest of the, or she fought the rest of the fight,
the rest of the rounds like the fifth round.
Yeah, I think she would have had a great job. But also, it's her first fight. It's getting comfortable in there. It's getting the feel of it. She says she's in it. I thought she had some good stuff. I was more impressed with her performance than I thought it would be, to be honest. She was never known to be like a great stand-up person. There was one moment in there where she tried to throw a knee.
Getting close. Yep.
I think she was trying to break the grip. It looked like from the angle I couldn't tell, but it looked like she threw the knee or she was trying to break the grip or something. But it was. I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued by watching this.
It has its place.
It does.
Like everything.
It does.
It's not for everyone, but it is a sport. It has a style. If you think you're just going to go from boxing and do well at it, you're not. Look, they've had high-level boxers in this. Paulie Malignaggi was a good boxer. He wasn't, he wasn't, the best boxer there ever was. He's a good boxer, and he was a world champion. And he went in there against Artem Lobov, and he fought it like a boxer. And I will tell you, one of the things that I've had the biggest problem with is the officials when it comes to bare knuckle boxing, because you are allowed to clinch and hold in bare knuckle boxing as long as you are throwing. You got to get a single collar tie and you want to throw with that right hand. The referee's supposed to let you go unless the action stops. Action stops, he separates you. But if you go back and you watch Artem Lobov against Paulie Malignaggi, it was a boxing official that was doing it, and he did it like it was boxing. You can't do that. You're changing the sport. There are rules. It is set up a certain way. It is not boxing like with gloves that we have. You want to go watch on ESPN, it's a different form and it's different for a reason. So
I like I said, I'm intrigued by the sport. I want to know how far this thing can really go.
I can get you a fight in it if you want.
No, thank you.
I don't want to either.
What intrigues me though about it is they're paying a lot of money. So how are they going to be able to keep this thing going with the amount of money they're paying? That's the scary part. Like, I feel like sports right now, they're having these type of sports, the new pop-up sports, they're having to compete with the UFC and with Bellator and with, boxing and also boxing. This sport has to compete with all of those other companies. So they have to pay more to compete with those other companies. And in doing that, that could potentially make you go broke, because there's a company over in Singapore right now who's going broke. Or so at least on paper, it looks like they're going broke.
On paper, but they're not going.
They're not going broke. But I mean,
not until the head of an organization says, all right, we're done with that one.
So when you're having these conversations, like these promotions have to pay a lot. Yeah. And that's a hard sell to stay in business. I mean, if you take a business plan, I say, yeah, we're going to pay you $100,000, you $100,000, you $100,000, you 100, and all of a sudden you're at over $1 million. And guess what? Our budget is 600,000. You're like, yeah, well, how are you going to stay in business very much longer?
But the one thing that, you got to give it to the bare knuckle boxing is they've done better numbers than people ever expected them to, because there are people out there that are intrigued by it.
I'm one of them.
And they've tried to actually bring in names that would help in bringing some of the hardcores from the other sports into watch, their event. They've actually done better in their pay-per-views than even they thought they were at the beginning. So that's helped them. I look at, when Paige kind of gave a glimpse, because I had no idea how much they were paying her, but if what she said is even close to being accurate, that's where I look and I go, wow, that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
I hope you get out of her what you're looking for, because what I'm looking at with, Paige or any smaller female fighter is you're not going to see a lot of knockouts.
No.
They just don't carry enough, torque to get that one punch knockout. It's possible, but in MMA, you're seeing women get knockouts with kicks and knees and elbows, and there's a lot of ways to get the finish in that fight. Well, in BKB, you've got those two tools, left hand and a right hand, and you got to figure that if they get knocked down, they get a little bit of a break by, that, 8 count if they're not counted out. So it's not easy to get rid of a smaller female fighter for, the girl in there, because you're usually going to go into the 5 rounds. There's not that knockout, like you see in MMA. That's kind of what happened with women's boxing too.
Yeah. I mean, but here's the thing. You'll probably see more knockouts or more stoppages because of cuts and stuff though in this than you will in women's boxing.
Yes, you absolutely.
So that's one positive out of it. The other thing as well is that when you're watching this, there's going to be a lot more activity because you can clinch and throw. So like when you looked at Artem Lobov and what was his name? Jason Knight? When they fought? Damn, that was a good fight.
God, it was a good fight. They just killed each other.
You know what I mean? So you're hoping that something like that happens with these fighters that you're bringing in, because you're allowed to clinch and throw with no takedowns. No, there's no repercussions if you miss a shot other than you get hit. I mean, like you're not getting taken down. You're not trying to throw kicks where they can catch your kicks. Those type of things are not going to happen. You can clinch the head and get dirty and nasty in there. Yep. And so I think this, like I said, I think they got something. I'm actually really surprised. I think I've always loved the white ring with the white ropes. Just from the Pride days, it pops on screen. I turn it on.
Those are not ropes; they're tubes.
Whatever. Oh, in Pride, yeah, they're
in Pride they're cables.
Yeah, they're like metal cables wrapped in rubber,
wrapped in a garden hose.
Yeah, super fucking hard.
Yeah, they crank those things so tight they don't move.
So tight. I honestly thought I was gonna be able to like spring off it like in the WWE. No, absolutely not. But like whatever this is it there? You said they're tubes or they're cables that go around on this cage too? Or
it's
ring?
A tube.
But I think it's a wonderful platform. I like the square.
It is because it's different.
Yeah, it's awesome. It makes them fight. It's a circular ring.
I do like to toe the line. That was part of the whole thing is, hey, you got to toe the line because that comes from the old world of, bare knuckle boxing. So they use that, but they having the referees go, knuckle up or whatever.
Stop. Stupid. They're trying to do the whole like let's get on.
A little bit
stupid.
A little bit.
They're trying to jump on that let's get it on type thing. Didn't catch on. But no, as soon as I saw them step up and toe the line, like you were saying, I was thinking wrestling.
Yeah.
I was just thinking wrestling. Yeah. But I think the promotion's good. The viewing of it is good. The camera angles are good. The like the way they have the crowd lit, even though there's really no crowd. The way it's all lit, I think it's lit up.
No, they had a crowd.
Yeah, well, I can't really see. It's all blue.
Yeah, but they actually had a big crowd.
Nice. I mean, I thought it was a good. I watched it.
They were in Tampa, Florida.
I watch most of the stuff with no sound, so I don't hear the commentary.
So you were not impressed with the commentary. Oh, you didn't hear it?
No, I did. When I first turned it on, was that Chris Lytle?
Yeah, it was Sean Wheelock and Chris Lytle.
I like Chris Lytle.
Chris Lytle's a good man.
Great guy.
So is Sean Wheelock.
I don't think I've worked with Sean Wheelock.
Sean's a good person.
Yeah.
You know, you talk about a guy that does all combat sports, MMA, bare knuckle boxing. He's kind of like the second Mauro Ranallo. Just he put in the bare knuckle boxing, which is real, and Mauro put in the WWE stuff that he doesn't do anymore. That is not quite so real, Dave. Just wanted to get that in.
Don't tell Dave that. His feelings will get hurt. He'll go home and tell his wife. They said it's not real.
Stupid.
Oh man. Overall, Paige, I was more impressed with her performance than I thought I would. That girl Hart, what's her name? Brittany?
Britain.
Yeah.
She was a gamer. And I loved her little stint at the end when she said something about her feelings. I thought it was pretty good.
Okay. All right. I had people saying, "Oh, that's the greatest promo." I go, "See, that's the difference. I really didn't get it." It's like I'm not a person.
Well,
I'm a feeling.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and
you're gonna get
me or something.
Yeah, you're gonna feel me. I think it was I thought it was good, which I knew where she was going with it. I'm a feeling or something like that, and you're gonna feel me. But I was thinking like because she had yet used the F word. I'm a effing yeah. But she should have said it at the end. You're gonna fucking feel me, like they should have said it like that, but she missed that part, and so I think that kind of took away from it a little bit. But I thought it was a good little stint there at the end. Yeah, I want to see who's next for Paige though. That'd be good. I want to see who's next for Paige. What else we got there, Dave?
Nick Diaz. There's a picture posted.
Are you drinking a Monster at what is it, midnight there?
Don't talk to me. You're not my wife. You're not the boss of me.
Oh man, are you gonna get some sleep tonight?
Hell yeah.
Oh jeez,
dude, I could drink that and go in a second, no problem.
Jeez, man. All right, so what were you saying? This is Nick
Diaz, yeah. And so they're just talking about his potential return and how shredded he looks.
I'd rather look at the truck that's over on the right. That's a lot better looking to me than Nick. And no offense, Nick, but the truck's really nice.
He's got some short shorts on, baby. Jesus.
Dude, I've worn those.
Jesus.
You want a picture of me with those?
I do, and I'm going to get that picture one of these days. And when I do, I'm going to make 100 shirts and sell them.
I want to see Nick Diaz in this shape fighting a loudmouth poodle-haired cut Jake Paul. That's the MMA fighter he should be fighting.
No, I want to see him fight George Masvidal.
Nick?
Yeah, I want to see Nick fight him.
It's George.
I want to see Nick. George. I want to see him fight Masvidal. That's the fight that I want to see. He's the guy that I want to see Masvidal fight. I don't want to see him fight a wrestler. I want to see him fight someone that will stand.
Oh,
that's the guy I want to see him fight.
I can understand that.
Not a Stephen Thompson, not a Michael Chiesa, not a Tyron Woodley. I don't want to see any of those fights. I want to see Masvidal in that. Maybe Leon Edwards. Maybe. Those two fights. Is he going to fight at 70 or is he going to fight at 85? He fought at 85 against Anderson.
Yes, he did.
So he's going to fight at 85. I mean, I think the Masvidal fight makes a lot of sense. Realistically. Outside of that, I don't see anybody else. I mean, how crazy would it be if you saw Khabib come back for Nick? Khabib and Nick. At 170.
Khabib going up to 170?
Yeah, might as well. I mean, I would like to see him fight for the title at 170.
Khabib is the last person that Nick wants to fight.
Yeah.
He hates that style. It's kind of like Quentin Rampage Jackson. They're going to put a wrestler against him. Well, that's a good idea. You're not going to hear him complain about this at all.
Yeah. This is true.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's. What else was there? Let's. The one thing I want to talk about this Usman and Burns fight.
Burns.
Jesus, what a good fight! This is gonna be a good fight. Stylistically, they match up to be perfect.
Not only stylistic do they match up. They have trained together hundreds of times.
Yep.
Hundreds upon hundreds. And so they know each other. They know where they did well against the other guy. They know where, oh, he presented me problems. They know what they think they can get away with. So it's just an interesting matchup, all the way around. Burns has proven that, he is way better at 170 than he ever was at 155. The cut was killing him. He didn't have a good chin there. He's got a great chin at 170. He's got power in his hands. Just everything about the 170 works out for him. Even though as I'm looking at what Dave has now put up in front of me, it says 155 pounds for Gilbert Burns. What the hell is wrong with them?
Yeah.
UFC.
We don't have much room to talk. Have you seen our website?
No, I don't want to talk.
we have to get rankings before we can talk shit.
To me, the real question is, does Kamaru have enough confidence in his ground game to take Burns down, to get out of the stand-up from him and do damage to him on the ground without being concerned that, I cannot do that based upon he's got a good chance of submitting me?
Yeah.
It's the real question in the fight, Josh. That's the thing.
I think in the first 2 rounds, Usman's got to keep it on the feet until he gets a good sweat going on.
I definitely think until he gets a sweat.
Yeah, until he gets a good sweat going on, he needs to keep it on the feet. And I think for some reason, Usman's been extremely quiet this whole camp. Like, you haven't talked, I haven't seen a whole lot of press about him. He's been very silent on his social media. Burns, the opposite.
Nope.
Which means, which kind of tells me that he feels super confident, like he's going based off of what they used to do in training.
Yeah, I think that has a lot to do with it.
Yeah, I think he's got
there's
something in his mind, in his back pocket.
Yeah.
He thinks he can beat him.
I agree with you. I think, deep down, that's why he wanted to fight. The other thing that, and I always go off of the fact that Burns he's coaching jiu-jitsu at Stanford MMA.
Sanford.
You
did
what
you
did I
said
say?
Stanford. Yeah, you did what I do.
Sanford, yeah.
Yeah.
But you don't give up a world champion. You don't tell a world champion, okay, you should go somewhere else, basically.
Does he come back, though, after this? After they fight? If he wins, does he come back?
Fuck no. Would you come back?
I mean, I don't know.
Nope.
I mean, you've got a lot of good guys at that gym.
Yeah, you do. But, there's other good guys all around, and you can find them and train with them. And what I always look at it's like, I really enjoyed training with you, but you know what? You gave up on me.
Yeah.
You went with that guy. I don't know.
He's teaching there.
He is. And so I understand why they, I don't know if that was the only reason, but it's a legitimate reason.
Yeah.
But maybe they know something, they were at every one of those training sessions.
Yeah.
So.
Maybe that's kind of what went through my mind, is that generally you will see whoever the coach thinks is going to win, that's the one that's going to stay.
Oh, yeah.
You saw it with Rashad and John Jones. You saw it.
Yep.
Yeah, I've seen it at some other gyms as well. Whoever they think is going to win is the guy that's going to stay. It's like, no, we're going to have champ. We're going to have the champion no matter what. It's like, I'm going to take him and tell Burns to go somewhere else. Ah, man, it's a tough fight. I'm leaning. I was from the beginning. I was leaning towards Burns only because it falls right into what Usman does, is get takedowns, and I feel like he just leaps and bounds above in the submission game. And I think he has in his mind how he knows how to submit him over and over and over again so easily, probably. And how much has he been able to fix that? You know,
you just said the whole key. I was going to say, well, there's the whole thing. Usman knows just as much as Burns as far as if he had a weakness and Burns was able to take advantage of it. So when you go somewhere, what are you going to do? I'm going to make that a strength. I cannot allow that guy to beat me there. I want him to think that he can, and now I can stop it.
But why go to a striker camp? Is it because he used to beat you at striking?
No.
I mean, he went to Elevation. Like, I would have thought.
Elevation has got some great grapplers.
Yeah.
The coaching, Elliot Marshall is an outstanding coach in the grappling world.
He is a good coach.
And he was good himself, and as a coach, he's really good. He sees things. He's able to break things down for guys. So there's a lot of people there that he could get good information from.
Yeah, but at the level of Gilbert Burns, that's the difference. No, John, I got to disagree with you. Elliot Marshall was a good grappler. He was a good grappler. Good. Yeah. But there's a different level. There's we talk about, there's levels to this game. That Gilbert Burns level is like,
it's rare.
It's like Leo Vieira level. It's like you're talking,
I agree. It's Damian Maia level.
It's kind of even, I think it's somewhat even past the Damian Maia level. Like he's up there. Gilbert Burns is up there. I mean, he's up there everywhere. But I'm saying his jiu-jitsu is just at a different level. I'm so glad I didn't have to fight him. I was supposed to fight him, and then I got hurt in training. And but he's good. His grappling is like, so when I started training, like I trained with Dave Camarillo, got my black belt from him. Yeah. Then Dave left and went to, open up his own gyms and did his own school and stuff like that, and left AK. Then I started training with Leo Vieira, Lucas Leite, Marcus Buchecha, there's a Gabriel Rollo. They call him Polito, is a big stick.
Marcus Buchecha, you know who he's fighting coming up?
Big Nigerian guy?
A monster.
Sumo, right? Like he does the
Singali wrestling.
Singali, that's here you go, yeah.
That's gonna be interesting. I say Buchecha's gonna kill him.
Yeah, it depends if Buchecha wants to get hit or not.
Well, I don't know about getting hit. That's the difference.
Yeah, he's been training down there at Ruka with Rockhold and Perillo and those guys. So, but I mean, he's just to go back to Burns. His striking's gotten a lot better. He mixes it up really well. He's gonna have to get in on the inside. He's gonna have to use his speed against Usman, but he's got to get in on the inside, and he's not gonna take him down. He's not gonna be able to take him down, I don't think.
You don't think Usman's going to be able to take
No,
Burns
I don't
down?
think Burns is going to be able to take him down.
Oh, yeah.
No, Usman can take him down at will, I think, if he wanted to. Because I don't think Burns is going to even try to defend it. He's going to say he'll defend it a little bit to try to fall to a better position.
He'll try to get to a top position.
Well, he'll try to get to a top position, but I think when he falls, he'll concede the takedown to fall into a better position in terms of like, okay, I want to fall into half guard versus trying to fight the takedown so much where you fall into full guard or you fall into side control where he lets Usman take him down into side control or mount or any of those positions. He won't fight the submission, the takedown that much. He'll fight it enough to make sure that he gets put into like a omoplata position or rolling into an arm bar or rolling into a triangle or rolling into half guard. He will go to a position where he feels like he can control that position. I don't think he's gonna fight those takedowns as much as people think he's gonna. I don't think he gives a shit. I think he knows how damn good he is on the ground. And it's just true. Like that's the other thing. When you know you're that good on the ground, he's like, yeah, go ahead. You take me down. I'm gonna fall to a good position where I know I can get up from you. He's like, and when I do, I'm gonna end up on your back. Or I'm gonna end up in side control. I'm gonna end up in mount. And he's like, I'm just gonna tee off on you. On the feet, he's just got to use his speed. I think he's faster than Usman, but he's got to get in. That's the thing. He's just got to get in. I think if Usman fights him the same way, a little bit how he fought Colby Covington with that long push kick and the long jab, I think he's got a good chance. He's got to keep his chin tucked though. But I'm excited. This is realistically, it's a style matchup for me. One guy likes to wrestle and get the takedowns, but he probably won't want to do it while he's still dry. And he's going to keep it on the feet, knowing that the other guy's probably got a little bit. He's obviously a better striker than Usman. I think Burns is. But he's not as long. I don't know if he's got as much power as Usman either. Usman's got some power. That reach and that range, he's got power.
But so does Burns.
Yeah, I think
Burns got power, especially in his right hand.
He does, but I don't think he's going to have the same amount of power trying to lunge in to get it there.
Yeah, I look at Usman and Woodley are very similar in build and just the way that they're put together.
Yeah,
he did pretty good against Woodley. Though.
Yeah, Usman's longer,
a little bit longer reach, and
taller,
not much.
And taller.
Dave, show me Woodley's reach, and then show me Usman. Come on. So Usman has got a 76-inch reach, which is freaking long for a welterweight. That's long. So Tyron Woodley's is what?
That's the one thing Sherdog doesn't have, so I'm gonna have to find them on UFC's website. So
okay.
I'm getting it right now.
He can see what you're doing.
I know, but I'm just letting him know why I'm not doing it.
Now I can. Awesome. I'm so excited that I get to play along now. Never got to play along.
Do we see
This
First
is
strikes.
No.
You are showing me crap.
Jeez, man. What are we doing with you?
That's
It's amateur hour around here.
74.
oh, yeah.
74. So he's got a 2-inch reach advantage.
Yeah,
what
not
about,
much.
What about the height? So Woodley's 5'9". How tall is Usman? I think he's 6 foot.
Yeah.
You know, that's
Height is not the problem. Reach is the problem.
Well, I think the height
And
will.
74, 76, close to the same.
But mixed in with the height, he's got to get up to that high. He's got to jump and swing up just to hit him in the chin. I used to say that to like small kids that would pick on me in jiu-jitsu. Like, hey, you got to even jump to swing up to hit me in my shins. I was a mean jiu-jitsu coach. Oh man,
Just jiu-jitsu coach? Are you sure?
Just a jiu-jitsu coach.
All right, so I got a question for you. Then you look at Burns' jiu-jitsu is just unbelievable. You put it in the same category as Crone?
Yes.
You put it in the same category as Lovato Jr.?
Yep.
Then scary.
Yeah. No, I put him right. I put him right there
Very
with
good.
those guys. If
Well,
not,
then
if,
that's
I can't say. I would say if not better.
no.
If not better.
No.
Yes. The reason why I say if not better is that his jiu-jitsu in his weight class, it's one of the most stacked weight classes. And this is where we get back into the 55 versus 85. Like, do I think Lovato Jr. is absolutely fucking phenomenal? Sure. But the guys that compete in jiu-jitsu at that size, they're not as good as the guys that compete in jiu-jitsu as Gilbert Burns' size and Crone's size. Those guys are just animals. And not taking anything away from Lovato Jr. She's fucking phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. But I look at it stylistically, I think his scrambles, his movement, the way he finishes, he has different ways to finish arm bars, not just the standard of what you saw tonight from Molly McCann, right? She had the arm bar fully locked in, but she didn't know how to make the adjustments. Yep. Gilbert's going to throw one leg over the head, one leg over the body. Then he's also going to transition. If the guy starts to get out, he's going to throw one leg, take the leg off the head, cross it over, and throw the leg back over.
All three of them are going to do that.
You know what I mean? Yeah, all three of them are. But I'm saying, I'm saying that there's so many more transitions to the speed of it all is going to happen a lot faster from Burns and Crone versus Lovato Jr.
Okay.
But I'm not trying to.
No.
I'm splitting hairs.
You're exactly.
You're splitting hairs. You really are.
Yeah,
So,
you're talking about a gnat's ass difference if there is one.
Yeah. But I have to say, Lovato Jr.'s probably got the best MMA jiu-jitsu.
Well, and that's the real question is the freedom that he possessed based upon how good his jiu-jitsu was and how scary he was on the ground opened up his striking. And this is where, when we're talking about Usman and Burns, this is where Usman may know, and if we were just in a sparring session, I was fine. But if it was, we were doing full MMA and we were going to the ground, I couldn't do the same things based upon he was able to put me in positions that I didn't want to be in. And so I had to be more careful, which took away some of my tools and actually enhanced Burns's tools. So, we're going to find out. That's the best part.
Yeah. I want to know if Usman wants to keep this standing, how does Burns try to get him down? Because I think on the feet, we may potentially see. I don't think he can.
Well, the only way he can is to hurt him.
Yeah, you have to hurt him, or you have to
hurt
do
him in
some
the stand up. You can get him down.
Some sort of like Imanari roll or something where he kind of jumps to like a half guard kind of pull down situation. That's all I can think of. But the size of Usman is big, and Burns is big. He's a big guy. Yeah. People are like, "Oh no, he's not that big." Oh, bullshit!
Are you kidding? When he was at Bellator, he looked like he was 220.
Jesus, he's enormous. I'm like,
he looked like just a stump. He was just solid.
He's got no neck. No neck. It goes ears to shoulders. It's just ears to shoulders. Yeah.
His trap starts somewhere around his bicep.
This is that fight that I'm so excited for, though. For some reason, it just stylistically, the fact that they've trained together from before, there's no bad blood. The two of them still like each other. They've been very complimentary to each other during interviews. Just then, one's very positive, like one's very
just want to win.
Yeah, just want to. I that's why I think maybe Usman might go back. Is that they haven't really talked shit. They're very, very respectful. Didn't seem like they had left with any animosity. I agree with you. I probably wouldn't go back, you know. But I could see him going back, knowing that there's all the talent that they have there to help themselves make themselves better. But what do you do then again if you guys got to potentially fight again? Because if you look at the bracket, if you look at the actual rankings, Usman can beat all those guys. You know, I mean, he hasn't. He can beat. If he can beat Golby, he's beat Leon though as well. It's a while back, right? Usman did, yeah. And then
he's
you know,
beaten Masvidal. If he beats, you know, he could. Thompson's kryptonite is going to be a guy that can put him on his butt.
Yeah.
Chiesa is not going to out wrestle him.
No, but Chiesa has good submissions, good jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, he does.
And if
he's not going to out wrestle him, and that's what he lives off of.
If Burns is able to submit Usman, I could see them giving Chiesa to Usman next.
Really? After a couple of wins in a row?
The only reason why I say that is because that'll drop him below probably Colby. And maybe they'll keep him at 1. They might keep him at 1 because he's already beat Colby. But it depends on what happens with Chimaev and Edwards, and then Leon, and I feel like they may do something with Chiesa. There's been a lot of Chiesa on the mic. There's been Chiesa's doing pretty well in terms of, you know, he just beat Neil Magny. A lot of people didn't want to fight Neil.
Yeah.
So, you know, and it seems like Chiesa's willing to just say, hey, you know what, I'll fight all you guys. And I think, you know, they're looking for that. Those are the kind of guys they're looking for. And so I could see them, you know, especially if Burns submits him, they'll say, well, Chiesa's pretty good on the ground. Let's see if we can get this fight again, you know, and go from there. So I don't see him unless he fights Chimaev or Leon Edwards. If Chimaev wins, I can see them giving him Chimaev because you got to keep the rise going. And who else to fight than the former champion? I can see that as well. What else we got? What else we got there, buddy?
Yeah, not a whole lot of other news. Yeah, I went through this earlier. There's really not a whole lot else going on.
I wanted to Spinks. He just died. Michael Spinks.
Leon?
Yeah, Leon Spinks. Did I say Michael? Leon Spinks. He just died.
Oh,
67, right? 67 or 68. Yep, 67. Leon Spinks.
After a 5-year battle with cancer.
Yep.
Rest in peace, Leon. I am
sad
when he fought Muhammad Ali and he had like 8 fights, and he went out there and I can't think of, there was 2 cut men in the very first UFC. Leon Tabbs was one, and Sam was the other, and I can't think of his last name, but he was the manager, the trainer of Leon. Just a great man. And so Leon came to fights all the time. Very nice person.
Sad day for boxing. Sad day for everyone. Best wishes to him and his family.
Olympic champion, man.
Yes.
A winner.
What else? What else you got, buddy?
Let's see if anything came out of the presser. Just Corey Sanhagen sending a warning shot to Aljamain.
Yeah, Aljamain. He did that in the ring though too, or in the post interview. I felt like there was something else.
I'm sure he would like to get that one back.
Actually, let's see. Who's the co-main event for this weekend's card?
God damn it, Josh Thompson.
Well, I don't
making you work. Look at this, man.
Oh, Blades and my boy.
Blades and your man.
My boy.
The beast.
Man.
The beast. Oh, it's not.
There's a couple of good ones.
Oh, there's some good ones.
That was his own card.
Macy Barber and Alexa Grasso is the co.
All right. I can get behind that fight. That's a good fight. That should be a fun fight. Jimmy Rivera.
Pedro Munoz and Jimmy is going to be a good fight.
I think the loser of that fight's Frankie. Well, never mind. Pedro's already fought him. Never mind. If Jimmy loses, he fights Frankie. Because we talked about it earlier.
Isn't that 2 Jersey boys?
Gastelum fighting Heinich.
Yeah.
What do you mean, yeah?
Yeah.
You got to give me more than that, buddy.
I personally think that Kelvin should eat him up. Ian's a tough guy.
Yeah.
But he's not going to out wrestle Kelvin, which he normally does with a lot of his guys. He kind of bullies his guys around. And I always look at Kelvin Gastelum as my version of an MMA Roberto Duran.
That's true.
I just like him. I like him. I like the way he fights. He's had some bad fights at times, and you look and you go, what happened?
Yeah.
But he's had some remarkable fights. And he's fun to watch. When he is into it and wanting to fight, he's a handful for anybody.
Yeah. That's the whole main card right there.
Yeah.
Oh, then you have the Jim Miller and Bobby Green. They're main eventing the prelims.
Yeah. That's going to be a bad night for Jim Miller.
We'll see.
Bobby Green's too fast.
He's good, man. Bobby just
He's
got
too fast.
I want to see Bobby with a little bit more output.
Yeah.
That's it.
I agree.
He had a little bit more output.
Yeah.
If he had a little bit more output, man, he's dangerous. But he doesn't. He moves around a lot. He walks you down. He's got to have a little bit more output.
And he's standing with his hands down in front of him, just shuck and jive a little bit, but not throwing. It's like, Bobby, throw.
Yeah.
But Bobby's fast. Jim is not.
Yeah.
That's gonna be a tough fight for Jim Miller to win. He's gonna have to if he gets on top of Bobby, he's got a chance.
This is true. All right. Well, hey, what else do we have there? Nothing else, Dave? Dave is all tapped out. Hey, why don't we do a fan like a couple fan questions? Do you have any from the other night?
I can go ahead and pull them.
Let's do it.
If you take
Let's go.
Yeah, but you gotta keep the ball rolling for a minute.
I always
come on, improvise, Josh.
What
I
are
always
we
keep the ball
talking
rolling.
about keeping the ball rolling?
These
That is all
marbles
we
in this
do.
head. That's all these.
Josh doesn't have many balls.
We
in
are
there.
like a rolling stone going downhill. We
Nobody-
gather no moss.
Nobody really likes Dave.
Oh god.
Podcast Dave. You know what? Instead of going to the fans' questions,
Here,
Okay.
I'm gonna do one. You know what? I cannot answer this on Twitter, so I'm gonna answer it on our podcast because I don't feel like trying to type this out. Someone asked me a question, and I'm gonna go with, "Hey, this is the perfect time. If I can find this sucker, then I'm gonna answer it because it was not a bad question.
yes.
It was at the end of a fight. If they are tagged badly or go out on a choke right when the bell rings, is there any rule like the end of a round where the fighter has to walk on his own is what he's meaning, back to his corner? Is there anything like that at the end of a fight? Well, first off, if you're choked out and the bell rings, you lose. So I don't give a shit if you walk back or not. Okay. They're going to wake you up and eventually you'll walk back to something and it's going to be your locker room, but you lost the fight. If you get tagged and you are hurt at the end of a round, but the referee hasn't stopped it and you are still either in a standing position or able to move your body to get yourself back up, they're going to look to see if you are going to be able to get yourself either up into your corner or in a way, or they can take and wave the fight off and say you lost, even if the bell's rung. But no, they're not going to do it most of the time. It's going to end up going to a decision if that was the last round. So, yes, if you're choked out, you lose the fight. If you get tagged at the end of the round and it's the last round, the fight's over. They're going to go to a judge's decision. Does that make sense?
It does. It does.
Okay.
But I don't know a lot of the rules, but I know that rule.
Well, one of the things is a lot of people look and you do not allow a corner person to come in, and it's happened. You go back to, just recently, it was fight of the year. Joanna fighting Wei Li Zhang. Wei Li Zhang's corner came in and helped her up and lifted her and walked her over to her corner. No. That is wrong. You do not allow that to happen. The corner does not touch that fighter. That fighter will walk themselves over to their corner because that's part of our process in evaluating the fighter. And I'm not going to allow any corner person to touch that fighter. That fighter must get themselves back to that corner. So that was done. It happens at times, but it's not supposed to. If you have a fighter that is hurt, you're going to watch them get up. No one's going to touch them.
I have a little wrench I'm going to throw out there for us. I want to start doing a little series. Not a series. I just want to do it like maybe we do it once a month. Who is the most underrated fighter right now that you know?
Underrated right now fighting?
Yeah. Who's the most underrated fighter that
In
you,
any
that
weight
you can
class?
think of? Any weight class. Any. I don't have one in mind, so I'm actually like gonna probably try to piggyback off yours. I mean, like it obviously it doesn't have to be a big name. I'm just thinking in terms of underrated fighter. Who is in any organization, not even just the UFC, any organization. Who is the most underrated fighter?
Gosh, trying to think of.
Pull up the brackets if you can.
The rankings?
The rankings, yeah.
Oh.
The ranking.
The rankings
Wouldn't really be ranked if they were underrated.
No, they would still be ranked. They just don't get the respect they deserve. I would say like a Neil Magny, a Stephen Thompson. Like, sure, they've been there, they've done that kind of thing, but they're still very underrated. Like, because I would like to do a segment too. It's underrated, overrated, but then I also don't want to like slap fighters in the face. Like, hey, you're overrated. But the underrated portion of it all.
I'm trying to think. Okay, I got it. I know who I'm thinking of.
Give me who you got.
As far as underrated,
yes. No, we're not doing overrated.
Youssef Rizov.
Oh yeah, he's good.
He's phenomenal, and not one person. Well, I can't say that, but most people, even listening to this podcast, know who the fuck he is.
Yeah.
And no one that's a UFC fucking Klingon has any fucking clue who he is.
Yeah.
And he will wipe out just about their entire, I don't know if he can make featherweight anymore, but he would fit right into the lightweights and do well.
Yeah.
With the upper people. He's that good.
I'm going to say Yaroslav Amosov.
That's a good one.
He's the most underrated fighter that I think is 27-0.
Man, we're picking Eastern Europeans a lot.
Yeah. Well, I would go with somebody else. The guy who just fought Yaroslav Amosov in Logan Storley. He's extremely underrated as well. He had a great fight. He's got to work a little bit more on his stand-up, get more comfortable there in that position. But I think he's got a bright future ahead of him. But Mr. 25-0, Yaroslav Amosov. That's why I say 27. He's 25-0. He just beat Logan Storley, Lemminger, Ed Ruth, Rickles, Eric Silva, Gerald Harris.
Just keep going.
Yeah, just keep going, man. Diego Cavalcante. I mean, there's a whole row of them. 25-0. He's got the best record in all of MMA. If Khabib is truly retired, he's got the best record in all of MMA. Him and Lima, I would imagine, should be next.
Should be
for the title.
Yep.
Absolute phenomenal fight. The guy can wrestle. He out wrestled Ed Ruth in several occasions during their fight. The guy never wrestled. He just kind of jumped into the sport, became an MMA fighter, and wrestled and learned along the way. Absolutely phenomenal wrestler. Doesn't throw really hard, but it seems like he's got power in his hands. And he throws a little bit like it has like that Nick Diaz style of like boxing where he throws from all different angles, but doesn't throw hard until he hits you hard, and then he throws hard.
Yep. He's a volume guy until he sees you getting hurt.
Yeah.
And he opens up.
And then, he's good, man. He always comes in lean, ripped, in shape. He just fights at a pace that I don't know if he's almost like a little bit of that Michael Chandler. He doesn't know how to control himself. He fights and fights and fights and fights, to the point of exhaustion. And his fight with Logan Storley was absolutely phenomenal. The two of them going back and forth in scrambles and just the positioning, the hand fighting, he's doing the splits to defend a single leg. I was like, what the hell? Just phenomenal fighter. Definitely, I think he's drastically underrated. That would be probably my pick for this one time. I think if we do this, every couple of weeks, I think it'd be fun. Just kind of bring light to some of the under guys that don't get any credit.
Next week we're doing who's overrated.
Oh God, you're ruthless.
Get in trouble.
Josh Thompson.
Come on, just to get in trouble. No, they got to be fighting now.
Podcast Dave and I are about to fight right now. You'll see if he's.
Ooh, I like it. Yeah. We'll see.
We'll
see
what
can be on my list.
We'll see what overrated can do.
Yeah.
That'll be no. Actually, I was gonna make a joke, but it's a bad joke.
It's a bad joke. You're from Scotland. I probably wouldn't even get it.
Exactly.
Oh man. What other? You got any fan questions in there?
Do you want to do like fun ones or do you want to
If Big John was featured in a movie, Who would you choose to play your character? My choice is Steven Seagal. Oh my God.
Oh jeez.
Well, let's see. I have everyone telling me who's the people that, Rob Riggle, they say looks like me.
Who's Rob?
Everyone says Rob Riggle. He's a comedian, man. He's funnier than hell.
Oh, that's
guy.
a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of does look like you.
So
When he has a
Rob
beard, though.
Riggle-
Not when he doesn't have a beard. He only looks like you when he has a beard.
There you go with the beard
I
right
think
there.
right there.
Boom.
Good.
Okay. Who else did they say? They say Adam Sandler is another one.
Really?
So
The shape of the
that
head.
would be one.
The shape of
Yeah,
the
I-
head.
Shape of the head.
Shape of the fucking head. Who the
Oh, I
fuck
look
are
right
you?
there.
Yeah. Right
Look
there.
at that.
There you are.
That looks nothing like me.
That looks
dude.
exactly
Just because he
like-
doesn't
I'm
have
sorry.
He doesn't have the gray hair.
doesn't have the bed hair.
Look at he's got the fucking Josh Thompson little floof on top.
Doesn't have the gray hair. Is that what
He
he's
doesn't have the gray hair. No.
Oh man.
Here, I'll give you my Steven Seagal story. You want to? Here, I'll give you. It's story time.
All right.
Here at Weighing In, we're going to have story time.
I'm gonna give you a Steven Seagal one after you.
Okay, let's hear it. I've known Steven for a long time. Yeah, he's kind of fat like me, and he's got the same hair, but I don't wear those yellow glasses. So it's UFC 129. All right, that is in Toronto. It is 55,000 people, and I have the Aldo versus Mark Hominick. So I go to talk to Jose Aldo in the back, and when I go in the back where he's at, he's in the bathroom. So I'm sitting there, and Leota Machida is in the same dressing room, and we're kind of talking. And Steven Seagal is there, and he says, "Hey, John, how you doing?" And he comes over and he shakes my hand. I say, "How you doing, Steven? Good to see you." And he gives me the whole thing about. He says, "How did you like what Anderson Silva did to Vitor Belfort?" And I said, and I didn't want to, build him up in any ways. And so I was trying to think of a smart one. I said, well, I think I enjoyed it more than Vitor. Right. And he says, well, I'm telling you tonight, Leota-san is going to do the same thing to Randy Couture. Right. And I go, I kind of doubt that. It's, not something you pull off that often. He goes, I'm telling you, he's going to do it. But okay, he's going to do it. Right. And so I go and talk to Aldo, leave. Right. And, go out, and it just so happens where they have a seat for the officials to sit. Here is Drake and Steven Seagal sitting right behind me, right? And Yves Levine is the referee for the Randy Couture versus Leota Machida fight, right? Sure enough, Leota fucking kicks his teeth out, knocks Randy out, and Seagal is grabbing me, and he's, I told you, right? He's just shaking me, right? And I'm like, motherfucker, for the rest of my life, I gotta go and tell people that Steven Seagal called this. He called this fight, and it's the truth. And so I see Randy later on, right? And I said, dude, I fucking hate you, right? And he goes, what? And I go, I fucking hate you. You made Steven Seagal a prophet, right? And he goes, what the fuck are you talking about? Right? And he just got new teeth, and I go, I give him the whole thing. I said, he says, Leota-san's going to do that to Randy tonight. And I go, I don't think so. And sure enough, you made it fucking happen. So that was my story for Steven Seagal. He predicted the Leota Machida knockout of Randy Couture. And I have to admit, he called it right.
Horrible, John. Please don't.
Oh, I know.
Please don't tell those type of stories.
Dude, it's the truth.
The Steven Seagal story I have is surrounding around DC. So
I know this one. This is good.
we go.
There you go. Look at that picture, baby.
It's horrible, man.
So
I'm with
crazy fake hairlines.
I'm with DC.
Dude. Shoe polish.
I'm with DC. DC's like, hey, I have to go and see Sensei Seagal. I was like, you got to be fucking kidding me. He's like, no, man, no, come on, come with me. So it's me, him, and I can't remember who, there was a third person we were with. I'm like, oh shit. So we go. What's the name of the hotel? That's the Mandarin Oriental or Oriental Mandarin or whatever in Vegas.
Yeah. Yep.
So he was staying there, and we were all gonna go to dinner afterwards. So it was like a quick stop on the way to dinner. So I'm like, all right. So I go with, and we get in the lobby, and they're like, yes. And then someone comes down. He's like, yeah. He's like, yes. Sensei Seagal is looking for Daniel Cormier. And he's like, yes. He's like, oh, I'm Daniel Cormier. Sensei Seagal will be with you in 1 second. He needs a moment for for him to finish his meetings, and he will come down he will come down or have someone sent down to get you. And he's like, and so DC is this WWF like nut.
Oh, yeah.
DC is just okay. Okay, I'll be here waiting for Sensei Seagal. DC is the guy that plays into this shit. It's so great, but it's almost embarrassing to be his friend at that moment. Yes. Tell Sensei Seagal that I'll be down here waiting for him patiently. Okay, it's just the greatest thing. Anyways, he goes up there and comes back down, and DC's like telling me about how he's telling him how to fight his next opponent. You should do this and you should do that. And, I think DC, Daniel, I think if you're going to win this fight, I think you need to make sure that you use wrestling. Do you know how to wrestle, right? I swear to God.
Nope. I think I need you to show me.
He's telling him that he needs to use his wrestling if he wants to win and be successful and this and that. And I was like, wow, man, you got some. He's like, this guy's telling me that I should wrestle. And I just started laughing. He's like, man, says I gave me the best advice ever. Oh, he's telling the story at dinner. He's telling the story to everybody. And they're just, obviously everyone's cracking up, like laughing. Yeah. But DC's playing it off like he's serious. But it was fun. That's the one thing I think I got to say about Daniel, man. He's a great storyteller, but he tells it as if like he really like believes it. Like he's serious about it. But it's great.
Dude, I don't know. I was thinking I was going to stand up, but after talking to Sensei Seagal, that's it. I'm going to use that wrestling shit.
Oh man, I can't remember who he was fighting, man, for the life of me. But I think the fight was like in a couple days. Maybe it was a couple days. I think he was fighting that weekend. It was like a Tuesday. I think he was fighting that weekend. He was telling him how he should fight the guy. I'm like, oh my God, the game plan's done, dude. He's already fought.
Yes.
So yeah. Anyways, that's my story.
All right, Dave. Let's hear a question.
That was a question. Who's going to play in the movie?
Oh my God, I picked that one. Yeah, I've never seen these. This is great.
There was another one up here by John. What's his name? John Connolly. Do you think
who would win? No. How about this one? Who would win between King Kong and Godzilla? Josh.
King Kong.
Fucking A, man. Yeah. Way faster. He'd fucking toss that fucking
they haven't
blubbery lizard. The heat means nothing. He's gonna choke the shit out of him.
They have a new
Godzilla
movie
has
coming out.
Laser eyes though.
I'm going with the original Godzilla that was the one that kind of bounced in the Japanese movies.
They have a movie coming out. It's Godzilla versus King Kong or something like that. Yeah, they have a new one coming out, brand new one. Yeah. Go ahead. You were about to say one.
John Connolly asked, "Do you think having a beard makes punches softer or cushion or something like that?" He said,
"Fuck no, that's the stupidest thing." I don't know whoever came up with that, but it's like that's the dumbest thing I've ever. If I hit you in the head with a fucking bat, does your hair soften the blow? Jesus Christ.
Well, here, I will say, yes, it can. It depends until they made the rules and the regulation on how much Vaseline you could put in your beard.
You can't put Vaseline.
You can't put Vaseline. But you remember when Roy Jones fought
yes.
Ruiz? Remember how all that Vaseline he had in his face?
Yeah. But that's so it glances off.
Yeah.
Yeah, but still. Doesn't soften the beard. Doesn't soften the blow. You can put Vaseline on your jawline too.
I'm letting them know this. Okay, these are fans at home. They don't know these type of inside things. This is us giving them content, letting them know. Like, hey, if you put enough Vaseline on, I used to. I mean, just to be real, I used to put Vaseline on my face for like 2 days before the fight. So I'd Vaseline on my face, for 2 days before the fight, and then the day of, I would just lightly glaze it in the morning. And then, you guys would put Vaseline on me in the back before I'd come out.
One of the things they used to do all the time is guys would take a hot bath, real hot bath, and just sit in it and then put baby oil all over them and then wipe it off, towel it all off and get it all off. And then when they sweat, man, you're slippery. You can feel it. It's horrible.
Well, like, I would wrestle with Sean Bunch and he would always put like cocoa butter oil on himself, like a lotion. But you wouldn't know until you started trying. That's
because he didn't want to get ashy.
Man, yeah, it's true. It's
That's
true.
what he would say. Yeah.
But you wouldn't know until he broke a sweat.
Yeah.
you know? So,
Oh yeah. As soon as they break the sweat, man, it's like, holy Christ, that's like,
yeah.
yeah.
All right, guys. Well, we're going to leave you guys with that. It's been a great show. And we want to go to prowrestlingtees.com/weighing in. And the promo code is
Plethora.
Plethora.
Plethora. I love that.
So we had a fan that said he had to pay full price because he didn't know how to spell plethora. So he commented in the comment section. He's like, I paid full price because I didn't know how to spell it. I started laughing. I was like,
That's right here.
oh, man,
Guys,
that's great.
Yeah, it's right there.
Use the promo code plethora
Doesn't
and
matter.
you can choose from the plethora of shirts that we have up there, which is amazing. So check them out. We have the home improvement one. We've got the Karate Kid one. We've got the Terminator one. We've got all of our original logo ones as well as the new logo that's up there in all different colors.
These two
So
are the
check
most
it out.
popular right now.
Which one?
These two right here.
They're doing what?
They're the most popular.
Yeah. Especially I knew the black and white one would be popular.
Oh, did you?
That's why I told you
Mr.
to put it
Marketing
up.
genius over here.
Yes. I just know what sells, man. Ask John. John, what suits do you wear? What color are they? Every time we do an event.
Black.
Black. What color? Occasionally you wear a black one. And then occasionally you'll wear a white shirt. And every once in a while you'll throw in a black shirt. Correct?
No, I just wear
black.
black.
Oh, black. Just black. Okay.
Just black.
Yeah,
Yours
just
is
black.
like purple and blue and stuff. So
Oh, yeah.
Oh, he goes all Conor McGregor on me.
Nothing wrong with that, my friend. Nothing wrong with that.
All
All right, guys.
Fancy. I keep it simple.
Well, brother, it's been a good show. We will see you guys in the midweek show. And I feel like John has got something to say.
I always have something to say. Josh, I'll see you.